what's up? What is happening? I am Pastor Cody. This is my brother, Pastor Gavin, and we are Pulpit Fiction. We're pastors pointing to Christ in cinema. And so today we are going to be talking about Creed and the franchise Creed, as well as Rocky, and what we're expecting out of this Creed 3 movie. First, brother, which franchise do you prefer? Rocky or Creed, man?
Man, I'm like anybody else, watched Rocky first, all 5 movies, love those movies, but I'm a Creed guy through and through. Those are my movies, man. What about you?
I'm a Rocky guy myself. Rocky has done a lot for me, and really just understanding movies and understanding the underdog. And I think every time I've seen Rocky come on TV, it's just like the Titanic for me. I have to hurry up and turn it, or else I'm there all day.
Oh, man.
I'm there all day, Rocky after Rocky. And Creed hasn't done that for me. So I can't say Creed just yet. So I'm gonna go with Rocky with that one.
Wait, so are you just a nostalgic guy, or you think these are actually better movies?
I actually think they're better movies.
Bro.
These, Rockies, pretty much at least 4 of the 5 or 6 movies are classics. I don't know if I could say that about Creed movies just yet. So get off me. So, but the next thing that we have to talk about a little bit here is what's up with Sylvester and some of the comments that he said recently. Do you see any of what he's saying as being valid? Real quick, just a quote. You guys might be able to see it on your screen as well. I know what it could have been, says Sylvester Stallone. It was taken in a direction that is quite different than I would have taken it. What do you think Sylvester is getting at? Why would Sylvester be coming out about this Creed movie that it doesn't seem that he's a part of? Do you think he has a point?
Man, so empathetically, the history of Rocky is really Sylvester Stallone's baby. Right?
Yes.
He presented that to a studio director. I don't know the exact details of the story, but that was his project, and he wanted to star in it as well. And I know as he, brought it to different companies and executives, they kind of gave him the cold shoulder, and so he worked really hard to get it made. And like you said, the Rocky movies are classics, right? This is what the Creed franchise is based off of, and I think you can probably even argue that Creed, the original one, 2015, a lot of its success was the Rocky element in the story, right?
Yes, sure.
Finds out that he has cancer. He's kind of this father figure to Creed, and Creed didn't really have a dad in his life, and their relationship is really the thrust of that whole movie. And I do think I think the first one's the best of the 2 Creeds thus far. However, while I understand that empathetically, I think things need to breathe. They need to grow. They move on. They need to speak into their time. And Creed is the progression of the Rocky story.
Okay, yeah.
And now it's become its own thing. Michael B. Jordan is a superstar and a celebrity. And so I don't know what happened behind the scenes. Of course, Rocky deserves all of the credit for this being the foundational piece.
Yeah.
But if I'm honest, it kind of rubs me the wrong way that this is the rhetoric that Rocky wants to bring to the forefront, where here you have this guy who's able to build off of the success of something you created, and now you've got the opportunity to champion him, to celebrate, to get behind him, to be the biggest cheerleader so that this continues to go forward, knowing that you started this legacy and nobody's ever taking that away from you. Like, this is you.
Sure.
But rather than like celebrate, you've got to take this role of like ownership of this is mine and you must acknowledge me, and that's really off-putting.
I would agree as well if that is what's happening there. But if we were just taking objectively his words, it seemed like he has an issue with the direction of the movie, and he honestly felt as though if he was more involved, that it wouldn't go in that direction. It would probably go in a better direction. And if I recall this rightly, some of you out there might know this better than me, but I believe Sylvester started this Rocky franchise with his own dollars, off the muscle, He was rejected by studios before, and then he went out and he produced this thing, and so he sort of knows the heart of what it takes to convey a message through boxing. And after watching the trailer, man, I think Sylvester might have a point.
Okay.
If we're just going off of what he's saying in regards to Rocky did this, and the direction things are going in now is a bit different. And he's questioning whether or not that would be the best choice, not just for Rocky, but for the movie itself. And so after watching the trailer, man, what do you think? Will this movie be better than the previous two Creeds?
I don't think so. It's got the potential, right?
Okay.
I think
maybe Sylvester got a point, brother.
I think the way Jonathan Majors looks.
Okay.
That's one of the elements of the Rocky movies was the villain, right? You got Apollo Creed, you got Mr. T, you got Ivan Drago. These giant men that Rocky has to overcome, and at its core, Rocky is an underdog story.
Yes.
I think where this could come into play that I think is good. So Rocky starts off and Creed starts off as underdog stories, and it kind of gives me the vibe of David, right?
Okay.
David from the Bible.
Sure.
You have David, who's the underdog. He's in the back. His father's not even thinking of him. And they've got this opponent, Goliath. This is the Ivan Drago of the day, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so David is called upon to fight, or David steps up because he hears the defiance from Goliath. I'm going to fight him. And so David slays him, chops off his head, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Long story short, David rises to prominence and becomes a king. The way I think that may parallel nicely with the Creed story is that's a little bit of the story that you get in Creed 2. Now he's on top of the world. He's a heavyweight champion. And he's got the issues to deal with now as a leader. And we see that play out biblically as well, right? King David, once he ascends to the throne, he has all of these issues that come up. One of the issues that comes up is the relationship with his own son, Absalom.
Yes.
And Absalom rises up as this extreme rival who's out to get him. And maybe, just maybe, this story could take that angle where it appears from the trailer that Jonathan Majors' character seems to be someone that Creed knew back in the day. This is someone from his childhood.
Yeah.
And so his sins have risen up to come at him kind of while he's on the throne. And that could be an interesting story. So, I mean, I'd agree that the spirit of the Rocky movies, which is always the underdog overachieving, this has departed from that, which gives me a little bit of pause.
Yeah.
However, I'm hopeful because if Creed 3 repeated that beat, it would just feel like more of the same. Like, okay, he's got a large opponent. He's going to work hard. We're going to get a training montage. He's going to beat him.
Yeah.
Maybe this movie goes in that direction too, but I like the idea of he's the heavyweight. He's on top. His sins are catching up with him. How's he going to handle it?
Great point. The thing that I gotta say, man, to answer this question, I'm not sure if this will be better than the previous movies, primarily because if I'm looking at Rocky's franchise, the movie that I feel like it's most similar to is Rocky 3.
Okay.
Where you have Rocky who's on top, and then you have Mr. T's character who comes to get him. And they have a match early on in the movie where Rocky loses, and then later on in the movie, Rocky comes back. I did like that movie. It's not as much as my favorite because not just the underdog factor, but suffering.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that Rocky always presented himself as a person who suffered, as well as in Creed. Early on in Creed movies, he's suffering with not having the relationship with his father and his wife being deaf and all of this stuff. And I just don't see that element in this movie. The person that I see who's suffering the most is the major character.
Yeah.
Who's been locked away and now he's coming back out. And it sort of seems like, man, maybe we should be on his side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he looks more to be the sympathetic figure. And who knows how things are going to turn out with the movie, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch it, brother. I'm
Me too,
excited to
man.
watch
Me
it.
too. Me too.
What does this movie have to do to be better than the other movies?
I think it really just needs to tell that complete story, almost that hero's journey. So Creed has overcome the odds, right? He was doing these backdoor fights in Mexico in the first movie. Becomes, the heavyweight champion in Creed 2. Mm-hmm. He's got a little bit of the element of suffering where his wife is losing her hearing. And if you remember, his daughter, born in Creed 2, she's born unable to hear.
Yes,
she's
correct.
deaf as well. Mm-hmm. And so how are all of those storylines going to converge? And how is he really going to deal with the sins of his past? That's kind of been we know that his dad is Apollo. Mm-hmm. We know that he's a child from an illegitimate relationship outside of the marital relationship. Mm-hmm. But there's this gap where we find him in a group home in the first movie, and we don't really know what happened leading up to him kind of being adopted by his biological father's wife. Oh. And so maybe this fills in the gaps there and gives like a good, fully fleshed out story. And I think if they do it well, it's Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, from what I understand. So, flexing his muscles a little bit behind the camera. We'll see. It could flop. I don't think it will, though.
Okay.
I don't think it will. I don't know that it'll be as good as the other ones, but I think it'll be a quality movie that I'll enjoy.
Gotcha. Well, guys, you've heard it here from us. There are. I'm Pastor Cody. This is Pastor Gavin. We're Pulpit Fiction. We hope to see you again after this movie release, and you will hear again from us.
Yes, indeed.
Until then, you guys take care.